Do you struggle to find gifts for the creatives in your life? If they're anything like me, they get their eyes set on something, go out and do a bunch of research, and then just go out and buy it, leaving you with limited options for gifts. I'm going to give you a list of things that every photographer or videographer always needs more of and would love to see as a gift this holiday season. I'll also throw in a little bonus item at the end that makes for a great stocking stuffer. I'll also include some links in the description as well as general pricing so you know what to expect when it comes to that. First up are batteries. A couple tips when shopping for batteries. First, get to know which batteries they'll need. So on the back of the battery, you'll see the name. Maybe just Google what kind of camera they have and you should be able to find out there. Another thing to look out for with batteries is make sure you buy brand name batteries. We can always be tempted by the cheap knockoffs on Amazon, but in my experience, the brand name batteries always last longer and hold a charge way better. Next item on the list are hard drives, specifically SSD hard drives. I have two types here. This is a SanDisk variety and this one's made by Samsung, but ultimately they do the same thing. Photographers and especially videographers, we're constantly running out of storage. Even if you have a maxed out MacBook, you still could always use more storage. The only time this might not apply is if somebody has a server where they store everything. But even then, when you're out in the field, it's always good to have a couple backup hard drives. Some things to look out for with hard drives are you want to get SSDs or solid state drives. They'll typically be lighter, smaller, more reliable, and faster than other types of hard drives. I've heard mixed reviews about the SanDisk. A great option are these T7s by Samsung. They're small, they're light, and the traditional T7s work with a lot of videographers' workflow. Another thing you want to look out for on the hard drive is the speed. In my experience, the ones that are rated for at least 1,000 megabytes per second tend to be fast enough for most workflows. Next on the list are SD cards. Similar to the hard drives I was talking about a moment ago, we always could use more SD cards. Rarely will somebody have too many SD cards, so it's always a safe bet to get a couple more. Similarly to the hard drives, you want to make sure you look out for the speed here. Some cameras do use a different type of card called CF Express. That's a whole different subject, but it's typically a safe bet to get somebody a fast SD card. There are a couple numbers you'll want to pay attention to on these cards. For instance, how many gigs? This one's 128. You have the read and write speeds on this side. And then at the very bottom on this one, it says V90. You'll see a different couple numbers like V30, V60, V90. V90 is the fastest SD card you can get, which is perfect for most workflows. All cameras can use a faster card than they need, but if you get a card that's too slow, it might not perform well in the camera. So a few things to look out for there. Your safest bet is going to be getting a V90 card, which are a little bit more expensive, but definitely worth the price. I would recommend these pro grade cards as they tend to be a little bit cheaper than something like a Sony Tough card, but also really reliable. I've definitely heard mixed reviews about the SanDisk cards, so maybe stay away from them even though they tend to be a little bit cheaper. The pro grade cards won't let you down. Next up on the list are mini tripods. Tripods are a whole group on their own, so we're just going to focus on the mini varieties, from really small to kind of medium sized. I tend to use the mini tripod that was included in my ProMaster Chronicle. I'll link that video up here if you're interested. But that one you can't buy as a standalone. It's just included in this larger tripod kit. So a couple examples are like really tiny ones like this that are just tripod feet. They can come in handy in a pinch. You can keep them just tossed in your bag if you ever need to stand your camera up on the ground or something, or use as kind of a little vlog handle. They come in super handy. Another one is something like this, which is the Joby GorillaPod. This tripod can be a little polarizing throughout the community, but it is definitely something that can't really be replicated by other tripods. These legs are really bendable, so if you need to wrap it around a tree or around a light post, it can come in really handy. They also come in a bunch of different sizes, and they're built fairly well. So overall, it's a full setup for not too much money. You really can't go wrong with a mini tripod for your photographer friend. Last on my list is the Expo Disc. This is a portable white balance tool that you basically snap onto the front of your camera, and then you can set custom white balance depending on the light source. Basically, just screw it onto the front of your lens. You can then point at the source and set your custom white balance. It's way smaller than a gray card, super portable. Comes with this little carrying case, so you can just kind of throw it in your bag and you have it to set custom white balance no matter where you are. One thing to keep in mind when you're purchasing this for somebody else is there are different diameters you can purchase. General rule of thumb with filters, I always try to go on the larger end. So this is the 82 millimeter. And then if I have a smaller lens, I can just kind of hold it over the lens and it'll work just fine. I would recommend going with the largest size you can find. That way it'll fit the widest variety of lenses that the person may have. And then we have a little bonus item that I think you could pair with any of these gifts and somebody would really appreciate them. Cable management. So this is the type where it's Velcro, you can kind of feed it through itself, but there are a couple different types. This is just one of them. You can find them in huge packs on Amazon, super cheap. Great little stocking stuffer that you could pair with one of these other gifts if you really want to make a nice little package for someone. There's this type, there's bongo ties, which are similar but work a little bit differently. Lots of different options for cable management. Anyone who deals with camera gear has lots of cables they need to keep organized, so this will always be a nice addition to any little gift you're putting together for someone. What do you think about these gift ideas for the photographer in your life or the videographer in your life? Is there anything I missed? Leave a comment down below and let me know. If you liked what you saw today, please give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. That alerts you every time I post new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.